Welcome to Third Phase UFO Report. I'm Rich Giordano from GUFON, and here is today's report. Always something new in this field. Always something I haven't seen, something I can't explain, and that's not any different than what we've got here for you tonight. So sit back, buckle up as they say, and enjoy these UFO videos. We'll start off with the Jet-Pak guy. Could it be?
Lindsay, come here. Lindsay.
Say something.
Yeah, could you turn the focus thing? I'm just trying to keep my hands. Oh. Just kind of adjust to see it.
Come over right there.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Wow.
Looks like it's gone down.
Looks like it is.
It's literally a UFO because it's unidentified. It's only by us.
Let's send the video into Glasgow Live.
Yeah. This will be the best thing they've had since that guy put a love letter in the path down there. Oh, I'm losing it.
So let's roll this once again and slow things down and get a closer look. Right now, we're kind of interested in this video because it's kind of breaking the news with what's been going on with the Jet-Pak man. Right now, the FBI is stating that these jetpacks that have been seen over LAX that have been harassing our airliners for the past year have now been stated that they're simple balloons, possibly. The FBI's rolling out that there's a real Jet-Pak man out there. We've seen the videos, and in my opinion, I think there's some technology in regards to a Jet-Pak man. And from the statements from the FBI and some local agencies investigating this, they're dismissing this as a simple balloon that's in close proximity to the FAA jetliner pilots. This is kind of crazy. As we're looking at this, I like it. What it is, I'm not exactly sure, but could it be a form of technology, Brent? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's coming down to, are we going to see people flying around the skies on a daily basis with jetpacks, your personal carrier, that you could just transform a person and have them leap off the ground? I believe it's right around the corner. What we're seeing here today with the hidden underbelly submission is pretty unique. This is a good capture. You could hear the people, they're stunned. They don't know what it is. Could it be balloons? That's a possibility, but people are saying this looks humanoid, and I kind of agree with that. What we're looking at with the commercial airliners and the recent FBI drop, I could rule out what their recent submission and their photographs and even video they actually brought in doesn't really relate to what we saw 6 months ago.
Okay, so this one is dubbed the Jet-Pak guy for that reason right there. It looks like a guy figure. Now, it could be a balloon, don't get me wrong, that looks like a jug, a bottle, a guy, a humanoid. Now, for those of you who are quick to dismiss, sometimes I'm a little quick on the trigger, let's take a look at this, because the movement looks like it's got some control, some power, under some intelligent control, I'm trying to say here. Why? Well, let's think about what we're all thinking. We're all thinking it's probably a balloon, some advertising balloon, right? That's what you're thinking. That would be the most logical way to go with this. But let's think outside the box and just look at what we're seeing. This is straight up and down. It is vertical. That is very difficult for balloons to do, even if they're designed to be perfectly straight up and down. This one, it's doing a really good job of keeping itself straight up and down, vertical. I don't see any wobbling. I don't see any tilting over to one side. The only thing I see is this object. So it looks like it's turning. Like it's looking away from us, and then it looks like it's looking to the left or the right. And you can see the movement. You can see how quick this thing is moving. This is quicker than a walking pace, I would imagine. The objects it looks like it can be 10 feet tall. We don't really know. We're going to get a better perspective on it so we could get an idea of how big it is here in a second. But it is unique. That's why there's a video of it. You see the building right there? Each floor is 12 feet. Now, I don't know how far away or whatever it is from there, but this looks like it could be 10 to 12 feet tall. That is really big for an advertising balloon that's not tipping over, just floating amongst the city. What do you think it is? I'd like to know. If you can put your comments in the chat room, let me know what you think this is. If it isn't a balloon for advertising purposes. I don't know if it's a new type of drone. I don't know. I haven't seen a drone look like this. And if it was, it would be different. No wonder why this is an unidentified flying object. Let's go to the next one.
Once again, let's get a close-up look. I'm actually adding some brightness contrast. This thing is zipping across the sky, undulating. Quite interesting, but what's amazing is that we have multiple eyewitnesses, 3 in fact. Take a look at this. Let's get another look at this, a close-up, whatever this object is. We're glad we're having multiple eyewitnesses. Keep watching, guys. We got some incredible stuff on this encounter. We'll get to the speculation in just a bit. Now let's bring in the third eyewitness account. Here it is. Multiple eyewitnesses. People have their eyes on the skies. Watch. So did you guys see that we have in this close-up image 2 accompanying orbs of this object? Celestial in nature, maybe something built, some intelligence. Look at this accompanying orbs besides this burning up object. It seems to me that there is some kind of reference to, as people are stating, that it looks like the Mandalorian's new ship that he acquired in the new TV show Book of Boba Fett. Brent, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, Mando's ship's pretty badass. Look at that thing, streamlined. Yes, indeed, it does look something similar to this capture right here, this still that we're looking at. And I'm really happy that people were on the ground, and they really captured some really good footage right here. And I like the way this thing's is screaming. Is it skipping across our atmosphere, up in the horizon there, up in the stratosphere, or is this closer? This looks a little closer, and the way it's moving and captured in daylight, it's a pretty rare phenomenon. Is this more experimental craft that we're looking at, or just a celestial event? But then when we look at that other photo and stills of what we're looking at and captured by multiple events, this is a good capture. Let's look at this again. You see the guy right there, he notices something in the sky, he steps into frame, and we're looking at this closer right now. That's what it's about. We're enhancing it, and we're getting the people's opinions in this live premiere. What it could be is a question that we want to find out. Could it be simply space junk or a meteorite? That definitely is a possibility, no doubt about it. But when we look at this closer, and especially with the upcoming little enhancements with the accompanying orbs on its right and left flank, that gives away something that seems, like I said, intelligence behind it. Look at this thing. It's just zipping. It almost looks like the video's fast forward, but it's in real time, indicating the fast rate of speed. Is this hypersonic experimentation going on above our skies, and this could be a craft with, who knows, accompanying orbs around it? Look at this. You see it left to right. Those orbs aren't like drifting one way or the other. They're solid in its proximity to this. Very, very peculiar. Brent? Yeah, it almost looks like tips of wings, and it's glinting off of it, and this like booster coming out from the back.
Wow. That's all I can say about this next video that you're going to see here. I think I think I may have figured out what it is, but I will never know for certain, because that's the way it goes in this field. So let's take a look. We have a white object relatively low in the sky, moving at a nice, quick pace. And if I was to guess how fast this thing was going, it would be hard, but I think it's probably going maybe 50 to 75 miles an hour. Look at here. I don't know the distance from this side of the mountain to where it is, but that's not just a walking pace. That's not slow. It's pretty quick. And we do get some close-ups here where it just looks odd. It kind of has a disc shape to it, maybe a crescent shape or a triangle shape. But you can see right there how odd it looks. We'll do it again. We'll get close up here. I think I saw a wing, but I'm not sure. We're really close up on it. We're going to see those black dots. That's just the whiteness of the object reflecting light. And here's the odd stuff. It's out of focus there. But this looks like an X-Wing fighter from Star Wars. Look at this. I think because it's out of focus, we're seeing artifacting. We're not seeing what the object, like right there, I think it's just out of focus enough, but then right here, it looks like an airplane of the Star Wars caliber. That is amazing. Is this some secret space program, black budget UFO? Unidentified hypersonic technology? This is what it looks like from the Mandalorian's ship when he got his new ship a few weeks ago. This is not a Razor Crest. I forget what it was called, but that looks very similar. I mean, it's not even off a little bit. So, I'm going to go to what I really think it is. Deep down, I feel this is a drone that is meant to look like a Star Wars type of X-Wing fighter-esque shape. I've seen many drones look like many different craft, and it wouldn't be outside the box to think that this is a drone that looks like a Star Wars X-Wing fighter. Very possible. Mandalorian ship, maybe. But the next thing we got coming up here is Michael Schratt. He's got a new channel, Blue Room Media. Go check it out. And he's got a great story. Here we go.
And we do have the paperwork, documentation, and newspaper clippings to back them up. And thank you again for subscribing to this channel. So we're going to go ahead and get into the first case. Now, I've been debating for a long time whether or not I should include this case, because this next case has got to be the most outlandish, crazy, oddball, strange, weird case within ufology. Without a doubt, it really is. But here on this channel, we're going to push the envelope, so we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. Now, let me set this up for you here. November 2nd, 1967, Rary, Idaho. So there's two young men driving down the road, and what you're looking at here, ladies and gentlemen, is a very, very accurate representation of what they saw. And we actually went to Google Maps, and I'm taking you within plus or minus 5 feet of where this exactly took place. So what you're seeing on the screen is actually real world situation. Okay, so what they ended up seeing is a strange, approximately 8-foot diameter dish-shaped craft that had a series of lights going around the outer circumference. It was following the hood of their car, like lockstep with the vehicle. But then they noticed that there were two beings inside this bubble transparent canopy that was right on their hood of their vehicle as they're going down. And we'll move on to the next slide here, just to give kind of a little bit more of a reference here. Now, this is one of these auto binder reports that's in my book, but I'm going to hit you with this one here. November 2nd, 1967, near Rary, Idaho, the car of Guy Tosi and Will Begay suddenly came to a halt by itself when a small flying saucer and its two humanoid pilots appeared out of nowhere. So you can see the sight picture here. You've got this dish-shaped craft right in front of the hood. It basically stops the vehicle. And then what happened next is very strange. This bubble transparent canopy tipped up like it was on a hinge device. And we'll move on to the next slide here as we go through this case. Okay, so what you're looking at here, ladies and gentlemen, is the exact map. This is the sighting report and the map where it took place. And you can see UFO sighting occurred here November 2nd, 1967 with the arrow. That's the location and how we gauged to put the full color illustration together. So again, what you're looking at is real world, literally within plus or minus 5 feet of where this actually took place. And we'll move on to the next slide here. Okay, so this is the rough original sketch that went with the QFOS report. And you can see it's pretty rough here. Now they're showing 6-foot diameter dish-shaped craft, about 3 feet tall. It has a clear transparent dome. And you can see that there was some flames and lights coming out that were yellow in color. But then these beings were about 3 to 3.5 feet tall. And they had a pitted face appearance, almost like hamburger meat, and tall ears. I know it sounds crazy, but that's what the report is showing us here. Like this really pitted hamburger face for the beings. And we'll move. Now, what I ended up doing then is I cleaned up the drawing, and that's what we're going to go into next here. Here's the cleaned up version here. So on the right, you can see the clear transparent dome. You see the beings. Now, you can kind of see on the lower left here, this strange pitted, almost groove face that this being had. At the bottom here, its bottom light appeared yellow at takeoff and flickered like a flame. That's what this craft actually looked like here. Skin was rough, wearing backpacks and tight-fitting one-piece clothing. That's what they were wearing. Now, we'll move on to the next slide here as we get through this case. Now, I just want to provide you with some references. So this is the Deseret News, November 3rd, 1967. Idahoans say they talked with 2 flying saucer men. So at least there's some paperwork to back this up. This is not just like a science fiction thing that came out of nowhere. There's actually some paperwork to back this up. And we'll move on to the next slide here, and we'll get some more references here. 2 Idahoans talk with little men. So this is another reference, another newspaper clipping. So we can back this up with at least 2 separate newspaper clippings now. And we'll move on to the next slide as we go through this case. So once the car was stopped, this bubble transparent canopy tipped up. One of these 3.5-foot beings, you could call them, with this backpack, he levitated and flew out of the craft. He went over to the driver's side door. He opened up the door and got behind the wheel of the vehicle. And then the craft and the car started moving down the road and eventually kind of pulled off into a grassy dirt area. Now, you can imagine the 2 guys inside were absolutely freaking out. They couldn't believe it. Now, the report never said how this 3-foot tall being reached the pedals of the vehicle, like the gas and the brake. It never mentioned anything like that. But this car is going down the road with the saucer right in front of it. The driver goes over to the middle. They're freaking out. Eventually, what happened next is the guy Tosi, who was on the right-hand side, he's the one who left the vehicle. He was on the passenger side. He freaked out completely. He left the vehicle. And then it said that this strange being, started trying to talk to William Begay. He was the only one left in the vehicle. Now, what they stated is that it was kind of in this bird chirping, high-pitched frequency noise. He couldn't decipher what it was at all. Now, at this point, and we'll move on to the next slide here, now you can see this being driving the vehicle. I mean, this is crazy, but at least we've got some paperwork to back it up. Now, about 20 minutes later, the passenger came back. At this point, the being left the driver's side door, went back into the craft itself, and then this thing zipped away. This is all back in 1967. They were not drinking. They weren't on drugs. They were conscious throughout the whole thing. Police report was filed, and we've got paperwork to back it up. So this is a really good, strange case, but we've got references for it. So we'll move on to the next case.
Whoa, that's it. Right down the digital, what is that? Digital highway? Going back to the place you call life, I want to thank Third Phase of Moon, all the panel members, and Michael Schratt for that wonderful story. Don't forget, I'm Rich Giordano from GUFON. You can see me 6 nights a week, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, and Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. This has been a Third Phase UFO Report.